You think you know what's coming next for Peter Parker. After the world-altering events of No Way Home, the stage is set. We're expecting a street-level hero, swinging through New York, cracking wise and punching bad guys. A return to basics. A blockbuster spectacle. You've seen the posters, you've heard the rumors, and you think you know this movie. But this is the movie you are really about to watch. And you don't even know it yet. Because the most important clue to understanding the future of Spider Man wasn't in a comic book. It's in a small, quiet, independent film from 2013 about a group home for at risk teenagers. To understand where Peter Parker is going, you have to understand the man who is taking him there, Destin Daniel Cretton. And once you see his signature, you will realize that Spider Man, Brand New Day, isn't just another superhero movie. It's a Destin Daniel Cretton film, and that changes everything. Chapter 1. The Cretan Blueprint Wounded Healers. Before he was directing billion-dollar Marvel epics like Shang-Chi, Destin Daniel Cretton was a filmmaker obsessed with quiet intimacy and the invisible scars people carry. His breakout film, Short Term 12, wasn't just a movie for him. It was born from his real-life experience working in a group home for 2 years. The film follows Grace, a supervisor at the facility, played with a raw, electric vulnerability by Brie Larson. She is a fierce, dedicated caregiver to these kids. She is also deeply, profoundly broken by her own past trauma. The genius of Short Term 12 is how it understands that the line between caregiver and patient is paper thin. Grace can only really help a new resident, Jaden, confront her abuse because Grace sees her own hidden pain reflected back at her. It's a story about people who have been hurt, learning to help other people who are hurting. They are wounded healers, building trust and safety where none existed before. It's a theme Cretan fills with so much humanity and heart that every character feels real and three-dimensional. This isn't a one-off. Look at his 2019 film, Just Mercy. On the surface, it's a legal drama about defense attorney Brian Stevenson fighting to exonerate a wrongly convicted man on death row. But beneath the courtroom procedural, it's a story about how injustice radiates through families and communities. The film isn't just about winning a case, it's about restoring dignity. It's about how Stevenson's work is built on earning the trust of Walter McMillian and his family, on seeing their humanity when the system is designed to strip it away. Across Cretan's work, a clear pattern emerges. His stories are about guarded, wounded people who only begin to heal when they allow themselves to form new connections. That healing doesn't come from some grand heroic gesture. It comes from the quiet, terrifying, and ultimately life saving act of letting someone else in. Chapter 2. Deconstructing Peter Parker. So, what does any of this have to do with Spider Man? Everything. Let's look at where we left Peter Parker. At the end of No Way Home, he made the ultimate sacrifice. He is utterly and completely alone, erased from the memory of everyone he has ever loved. He has his suit and his mission, but Peter Parker, the person, is a ghost. According to the film's premise, he is now focused on anonymously protecting New York from street level crime. Cretan himself said the goal was to really concentrate the lens on Peter Parker and find a real character journey for him. This is the perfect landscape for a Destin Daniel Cretton story. The central problem isn't just going to be about defeating a new villain. The real conflict is Peter's isolation. His journey is about navigating a world where he has no anchor. And the emotional core of that journey? Grief. With Cretan directing, grief isn't just a backstory or a motivation written on a character sheet. It's an active, present force. For Peter, the loss of Aunt May, Tony Stark, and now his very identity is a trauma that needs to be processed. Much like the kids in Short Term 12 or the inmates in Just Mercy, Peter is a character defined by profound loss. He is now one of Cretan's wounded souls. The real battle for Peter won't be on the streets of New York. It will be inside his own head, fighting the urge to disappear completely into the mask. Chapter 3. The Found Family Prophecy. If grief is the problem, then Cretan's films also show us the solution, the found family. Short Term 12 is a masterclass in this theme. It's not about blood relatives. It's about the messy, imperfect, and chosen family that forms out of shared trauma and mutual care. The staff and residents create a support system for each other because they're the only ones who can truly understand what the others have been through. It poses the question of how you navigate a world where stable relationships aren't a given. This is the journey that lies ahead for Peter Parker. He has lost his biological family and his found family of friends. His next great challenge, therefore, won't be lifting a building or stopping a cosmic threat. It will be learning to trust again. It will be building a new family from scratch. This isn't just speculation. The film's cast includes characters like John Bernthal's Punisher, another man defined by grief and loss. These supporting characters will likely serve as reflections of Peter's journey, mirrors, showing him different paths he could take in response to his pain. Some may be consumed by it, while others may have found a way to live with it. This creates an ensemble of wounded people, all navigating their own isolation, with Peter at the center. It's the very structure of short term 12 just translated into the language of a superhero blockbuster. The director's touch. So, why does all this matter? It matters because it means Spider-Man, brand new day is something special. We've seen Peter Parker as a high school kid and as an Avenger. Now, we see him as one of Destin Daniel Cretton's characters, a young man trying to find human connection in the face of overwhelming loneliness. This signals a film where the quiet moments are just as important as the action sequences. A film where a conversation in a cheap apartment could carry more weight than a punch. Cretton's direction grounds the fantastical elements in a recognizable emotional reality. He is a director who finds the personal connection, noting that he falls in love with his projects. The moment that I find the thing about that story that connects with me deeply and personally. This is the director's touch. The action is there, but the real conflict is internal and relational. The film has the DNA of an indie drama, even as it delivers on the promise of a Marvel blockbuster. It's the story of a hero, yes, but told through the lens of a director who specializes in the stories of broken people putting themselves back together. So, now that you've seen the movie, what did you think? Were you more excited for the web slinging and the supervillain showdowns? Or were you, like me, more invested in the quiet human moments that define Peter Parker's new journey? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy this kind of deep dive analysis, please consider liking and subscribing for more. The title Brand New Day isn't just a reference to a comic book storyline, it's a promise. It's a new chapter for Peter Parker, one that finds him at his lowest point, truly alone in the world. But it's also a new day for the kind of stories we can tell within this genre. By hiring Destin Daniel Cretton, Marvel and Sony did more than just pick a director. They chose a point of view. They've chosen a storyteller who has consistently shown us that the greatest strength isn't physical power, but the courage to be vulnerable. The most heroic act isn't saving the world, it's reaching out to one other person. We didn't just get the next Spider-Man sequel. We got a story about a young man learning to live with his grief, fighting to open himself up to connection again, and slowly, painstakingly building a new family. In an era of ever expanding cinematic universes, the most thrilling frontier isn't space or the multiverse, it's the human heart. And with Destin Daniel Cretton at the helm, this has become the most human Spider Man story we've ever seen.